Top 5 comebacks and top 5 blown leads. Number 5, November 8th, 1987. St. Louis Cardinals versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So this is one of the best comebacks in NFL history. They are number 5. It's it's a great comeback, first of all, because out of any of the regular season games, and for the most part of all of the comebacks, this is one of the highest ones that they had to climb. So that's why they're on this list, mainly because they had to climb a large deficit. The only thing is they're so low in terms of the first ones there. They're number 5, mainly because honestly it was a regular season game. The other 4 are postseason games, so you'll see what that is. But anyway, yeah, the year is 1987. They're actually playing in St. Louis at the time. And, let's just get started in the first quarter. Tampa goes 7-0. Second quarter, they score 14-0. Cardinals get a field goal, 14-3. And the Buccaneers start storming. So at one point, they were up 28-3. Going to the fourth quarter, and the Cardinals went from 28-3 to all the way to 28 to 31. Like, it just went like that. And it all started with Neil Lomax kind of picking up his game. He passed to Robert a Waite 4-yard pass, got him to a 28-10. Then it went 28-17 with a fumble return. Then Neil Lomax and J.T. Smith connected twice. One for an 11-yarder, one for a 17-yarder. And it went 28-24, 28-31. So this game was played pretty much outdoors, and 58 degrees. So wind was 9 miles an hour, pretty much. For the most part, St. Louis was the favorite. So when Tampa was winning by a lot, that kind of scared a lot of people around. They're like, "Oh, okay, is this Tampa Bay team gonna win? Are the Bucs destined to win?" And Steve DeBerg had a really good game that day for sure. And he threw no picks. He had a really, really good game. It's just Neil Lomax and that defense of the Bucs just couldn't stop him. And in turn, you got yourself one of the best comebacks of all time. So, it's kind of unbelievable. St. Louis would go on to pretty much have 137 rushing yards, have 314 passing yards. Pretty much 414 total yards for them, and they had 31 minutes of time of possession compared to Tampa's 28 and 46 seconds. So that's pretty incredible, especially having 11 turnovers as well, or 11 penalties. Turnover-wise, they had 2, but they got it done in a crucial moment when they were down by 28-3. It's pretty impressive. So, number 4, Colts down 28 in AFC wildcard. So, Indianapolis, Kansas City, they faced off in 2013 AFC wildcard game. The Chiefs looking to be that team that wins on the road. The Colts, well, they were trying to start something big with young Andrew Luck. First of all, Kansas City Chiefs. This is a very, very, very much talented ball club that knew that they had it. They knew that they could definitely take it from Indianapolis and head to the next round. They thought they had a powerful team. I thought they definitely had a powerful team. So you look at that and you're like, Kansas City's going to win. And it sure looked like they were going to win. By a mile, actually. Because they jumped in the third quarter to a 38-10 lead. It went from 7-0 Kansas City, tied it up 7-7. Then they went 10-7, 17-7, 24-7, 24-10, 31-10, and then 38-10. So 11:47 13-39. They score 38-10. The ball game looks like it's out of hand. And then comes the Colts storming back. They get 38-17 over a run. Andrew Luck passes it, touchdown, 38-24. Ryan Suckup then gets a field goal, 41-24. But then Cubby Fleener from Andrew Luck, 41-31. Andrew Luck gets a 5-yard offensive fumble return. It's 41-38, as you know from the picture. Then Ryan Suckup, 43-yarder, 44-38. And then Andrew Luck to T.Y. Hilton, where they eventually stop the Chiefs from scoring any longer. The Indianapolis Colts win 45-44 respectively in Indianapolis, and that was a fun game to watch because I thought Indianapolis was for sure not going to make it, and they proved us wrong. So number 3, 49ers down 24 in the NFC wildcard of 2002. It was a matchup to see. Both teams had upstarts, had stars, and evidently it didn't look great for the men at home, which was the San Francisco 49ers. Out there in San Fran, they did have an edge. They thought they were going to win over the Giants for sure. And it just seemed like for a very long time that was not the case. Of course, yes, San Fran started at 7-0, but then the Giants answered 7-7, and it was 14-7 Giants, 14-14 tied, but then Amani Toomer, they got 21-14, Amani Toomer again, 28-14, Tiki Barber for his rush, 35-14, and then Matt Bryant's 21-yard field goal, 38-14. So you're like, whoa, okay, well, what are we going to do? It's already the third quarter. Well, by the end of the third quarter, they got a touchdown. Jeff Garcia to Terrell Owens. So they made it 38-22, but there was still a giant lead to climb. And it went from 38-30, then it went 38-33, and then last seconds, pretty much a minute in the game, 30-39, where Giants had a last chance to make a field goal, botched it. Probably for sure was, I would say, pass interference. Not on Jeremy Shockey though. Someone really dragged his whole body out. So I feel like San Fran got away with that. But it was a great comeback nonetheless. It was very fun to watch in a playoff atmosphere. So that was a hell of a game. Number 2, Bills storm back down 32. I don't know if you guys know this, but the 1992 AFC wildcard. Houston Oilers, Buffalo Bills. Houston is up 32 points, and everyone in the crowd leaves. Everyone leaves. And then the Bills came storming back. No Jim Kelly, no problem. Frank Reich got himself one of his most magical moments of his entire career. And it's a memory that will last a very, very long time. For sure, for everyone. This will be a game that if you watched, you actually were present. That's a game you will never forget. Unbelievable game. So let's just take a look at what we got here, though, okay? First of all, Buffalo's comeback is amazing. I know, it's number 2. What could be better? Well, you'll figure that out really, really soon. It's a wild card game in Buffalo. Remember, 92, they got to the Super Bowl again. This was a tough way to get back, though. They were down 7-0. All right, they answered with a field goal, 7-3. Okay, Oilers then go on an attack, 14-3, 21-3, 28-3, 35-3. So now you're like, well, we're down 35-3 in the third quarter. And then came the Buffalo Bills surging themselves right there. 1-yard rush, 35-10. 38-yard pass to Don Beebe, 35-17. Andre Reed, 26-yarder, 35-24. Andre Reed, 18-yard pass, 35-31. Andre Reed, 17-yard pass, 35-38. And then 26-yard field goal by Al DeGreco made it 38-38, which made it a game. And then in overtime, Steve Christie, 32-yard field goal, wins the game 41-38 for the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills in the third quarter had to answer, and they did. 28 points for them. 28 unanswered points for them. So, yeah. It's amazing. 28 unanswered points after the Oilers just kicked their ass. Like, that's something, dude. That is something. Buffalo really came out to play, and they just showed it. The first half was terrible. People were like, I don't think they can do this at all, and they prove it, and that's why they were the AFC champs, is because they deserve to be the AFC champs. After that, yeah, for sure. Too bad they couldn't win the Super Bowl. That would have been a great Cinderella story to tell. But they are on this countdown for sure. Number 1, Super Bowl 51 comeback for the Pats. I'll tell you why I picked this one to be number 1. Because it's a Super Bowl. Because they were down 25 points. Because Tom Brady went out there and his team, not just Tom Brady, but his entire team, went out there and balled. As well as, well, the defense showed up, of course. Dante Hightower showed up. People, they all showed up. And that's why they are the Super Bowl champs right now. The reigning Super Bowl champs, at least. Because they made it. Because they had the will to fight for something that they wanted, which was a ring. That's what they got. And we can look at this, and it's the biggest stage. So you're a comeback from the biggest stage of the year. Yeah. It's one for sure, because you're in the Super Bowl and you're down 25, and you come back to win the Super Bowl in overtime. Yeah, that's pretty great. One of the best Super Bowls of all time for sure. It's up there for sure. Now, first of all, first quarter, no one scored. Second quarter, Devontae Freeman scored. It was 7-0 Atlanta. Okay. Austin Hooper, 19-yard pass from Matt Ryan, 14-0. Okay. Robert Alford, 82-yard interception, 21-0. Okay. Steven Skowski gets a 41-yard field goal. It's 3-21 at half. Now, third quarter, Tevin Coleman, 6-yard pass from Matt Ryan. It's now 3-28. And now every Falcon fan is like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. For the first time ever, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Everyone thought of that, right? Not quite. James White, 5-yard pass for Tom Brady. It's 9-28. Okay. Steven Gostkowski, 33-yard field goal. It's 12-28. Okay. Danny Amendola, 6-yard pass from Tom Brady. It's now 20-28. And now people are freaking the fuck out. Like, okay, what's going on here? James White, 1-yard rush. 57 seconds left in the ball game for the fourth. 28-28. It is now tied 28-28. And then in overtime, with about 11 minutes to go, James White, 2-yard rush. New England, bow, wins the Super Bowl. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I don't know. Atlanta just didn't bring it the second half at all. I don't even think they weren't there. They just weren't there. And that's why New England is the Super Bowl champ, because they had the will to come back and fight for a title, and they did. The number 5 blown lead. San Diego blows 24-point lead. I mean, it's week 6, around there, I believe. I think it's the 2012 season. And you're playing the Broncos. You're playing an upstart Broncos team for the most part. And yeah, you're expecting, definitely Denver to win. Peyton Manning, all of that. They're ready. They really are ready. And then you see this. Nick Novak, 32-yard field goal. Antonio Gates, 15-yard pass, 10-0. 17-0 over interception. Another pass, 24-0. It's 24-0. It is 24-0 in the second quarter. Like, by the end of the second, it's halftime. It's 24-0. What happened to that offense? What happened to anything in that Denver Broncos team? What happened is they ignited a flame in the second half. That's what happened. They went 7 to 24 over a pass. Then it went 14 to 24. Then another pass, 21-24. Then another pass, 28-24. And finally, Chris Harris with that interception, 35-24. They blew a 24-point cushion in the first half, and I don't know. They were just too tired. But for a team that was home, up 24, that should have been a done deal. Like, that should have been done. That's it. Like, you're good, cool. That's done. That's all you need, and it's blown. You blew that. So not great to see that for sure. And yeah, it's top 5 blown lead.
Number 4, Kansas City up 28 in the third quarter. So Kansas City was in Indianapolis. They had a very great team, pretty good team, I would say. Great as in they were good enough to beat the Colts. Definitely had a pretty good chance of beating in the divisional. I forgot what the top seed was then, but was able to really have the possibility to maybe go to the Super Bowl. You never know. It could have turned around history a lot in a lot of ways for sure. Anyway, so Kansas City up 28 by the third quarter pretty much. So they score early in the third, and they're up 28. Like they're gonna win. They're gonna win because their defense was very good, and there's no way that they're gonna let the Colts come back. That's not a thing. Except they did. Of course, we already know what happened. This was actually in the comebacks. Well, they're also the opposite side. They were able to allow. I mean, it's just crazy to just think about it, but it's nuts, dude. I mean, you're looking at touchdown, and then they had a field goal, and then another touchdown, field goal, and then a touchdown for the Colts. I mean, the fact that what they did, that's, whoa, dude. They allowed 443 passing yards and 100 rushing yards. They allowed a total yards of 536 yards in this defense. And Indianapolis had 22 minutes and 27 seconds of their time of possession compared to Kansas City 37 minutes and 33 seconds. They didn't have as much time of possession. They scored more. Like, their defense just, I mean, come on now. Like, sack-wise, only Justin Houston was able to get there. They had a pretty solid defense. Abdullah, Barry, Marcus Cooper, Brandon Flowers was in there, Ali, Houston, Derek Johnson, Kendrick Lewis was okay, but Ron Parker was there, Dontari Poe. Like, they had guys. Like, where was this going? What happened? So for me, with that entire defense that I feel like they could have done something, they failed to do something, and they failed to really put this game on ice. And so yes, this is a very big time. It's just wow, just a really big choke for Kansas City's. I don't even know, man. It's really sad to see teams that are super talented. They just gotta stop them. You know, yeah, okay, allow a touchdown, but don't allow them to get another 4. Like, come on. So that's number 4 of a meltdown for sure. Number 3, giant meltdown in San Fran. So I was thinking, why not start making pretty nice punny names for it instead? Make it a little bit more fun for me, as well as fun for the audience, because you guys are going to listen to my voice. If I just put it on the board, you're just going to read it and then just move on. And I'm going to try to definitely start to talk a little slower. I want to try to get in depth. Definitely when I start talking too fast, I notice that my mouth doesn't move at the same pace as what my mind is trying to think. Also saliva, when people talk really fast, saliva builds up. That's not great. Also, I'll have a stutter because, unfortunately, if I talk way too fast, of course, I don't have enough oxygen for me to breathe, so of course I'm going to have that stutter. So want to kind of prevent it as much as I can. And I'm going to try to talk at a normal pace. I feel like I'm talking way too fast. But anyway, let's look at this giant meltdown in San Fran. First of all, it's not totally their fault because in the end, that call was kind of off. Honestly, I think that was pass interference in the defense. That's just my honest opinion. It didn't look like New York did anything wrong. They should have had a chance to win the game, but it's their fault because they let that scenario happen. They were up 38-14 late in the third quarter. Okay, you only have one more quarter to play. I understand that's a pretty long quarter. You're probably going to give them a touchdown. Or even two. But you got to know how to move the ball. If the run game is not working, okay, do a little dump pass or something. But not just that, the defense, they had to they just let Jeff Garcia and Owens and those guys just really get by pretty easily, I would say. Like it was kind of unnecessary. They could have done a lot. They could have been a lot better. Like they really looked like they were like, "Oh, I'm okay. We'll let some touchdowns in. It's okay. We're done. We're good. We're gonna win the game." San Fran never thought they were going to lose this game. They had the fight of, we're gonna get back in the game. We're gonna win the game. We're at home. They're at an advantage. As an away team, that's what's going on. So stop it from happening, and just keep playing hard until the whistle blows. The game isn't over until it's over. Until the whistle blows or until the clock stops. It's not over. You need to play until it's completely over. So, yeah, for me, yeah, not a fan of it, man. I'm not a fan of what they did. They just kind of quit. They just didn't seem like they really wanted to play. And honestly, evidently it cost them. Because after that, they gave up about 25 unanswered points. Around there? Something like that? Yeah. 25 unanswered points. And like I said, the last play of the game should have been pass interference. They definitely could have had a chance to win the game 41-39, but they lost it 38-39. Again, when you're up 38-14 and you have these drives where 2 minutes left in the third, they get a touchdown. All right. In the fourth quarter, not even 5 seconds into the fourth quarter, they get a touchdown, rushing touchdown by Garcia, 38-30. They give up a 25-yard field goal. Okay, so I can see field goals. All right. But then the last minute, like a minute left in the quarter, Jeff Garcia, 13-yard pass to Ty Streets. And they try to have obviously a 2-down conversion, which wasn't successful, but that should not happen. That should not happen as a team, and the Giants just let it happen. So, partially yes, they could have had a different approach, but at the same time, partially their fault. They could have definitely prevented it. So. Number 2, Houston leaks a 32-point lead. It's an Oilers team. This is before they were Texans. Okay. It's Texans. It's Oilers and Bills, okay, in Buffalo. Buffalo, they were ready really to try to get back to the Super Bowl and try to win a Super Bowl, okay? They had kind of, it wasn't too great, too pretty, the past, like, two or so years around that, right? I believe that's what it was. But they're in Buffalo. They're down 35-3 in the third quarter. Okay, picture that. Houston is down 35-3. You think Buffalo has a chance to come back with Frank Reich? It's not Jim Kelly. It's Frank Reich. Jim Kelly can't play. He's injured. Okay, how are they going to get back to the Super Bowl if they can't even at all get past this Oilers team, which was a pretty great team, right? It was a really good team. It was a good team. But how is that possible? There's no way in hell that I think that the Houston Oilers, they're going to lose this game. But they did. It melted down. 35-3 became 35-10, which became 35-17, which became 35-24, which became 35-31, and then 35-38 until the Oilers finally got a field goal to tie that. And then in overtime, we all know Buffalo was going to win. The field goal, there you go. Buffalo wins in overtime, 38-41. They're in Buffalo. You're up 35-3. 35-10. All right, you're going to allow a touchdown to the Bills. They're the defending AFC champs, of course. But you let them score constantly to the point where that was it. Your mojo was lost. Yeah, you got a field goal to tie it. You think you can win, though? Not after that. That destroyed their entire ego and everything that they were working for. Of course the Bills were going to win. Did I know that the Bills were going to go to the Super Bowl? They were a very talented team. They definitely had the entire ability to, because they were a very talented team in the 90s. They really were. They were an AFC powerhouse. But, like I said, no, you don't allow that. You're already going to win in Buffalo. That's a tough crowd. Just do it. Don't. Why? To Frank Reich. Not saying he's bad. He had a great game this game, so you can see he was pretty great, right? But at the same time, it wasn't the starter, and you lost to a backup. That's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad meltdown. So, yeah. I wish I was able to see that game. Seriously, that looked. Wow, that's a great comeback and a terrible blown lead.
And the number one of the biggest blown leads is too legit to quit. And what I'm trying to say with that is the champs, the New England Patriots, they were too legit to quit. They continued to do the impossible in a way and just come back and really be that guy, honestly. It was amazing. Tom Brady he already had legacy in there. He stomped that already as being the best QB of all time with this performance by far. So you look at Atlanta, they were up at one time 21-0. There's a field goal at halftime to make it 3-21. Tevin Coleman gets it 3-28. It's 3-28. It's a 25-point lead. Okay, in the third quarter, and it looks like everything's going well. And they get a TD. Okay, it's 9-28. Gostowski misses the extra point. So now it's 9-28. You're like, yeah, okay, there's no way they can come back. And then fourth quarter rolls around. Gostowski gets a 33-yarder. It's 12-28. All right. Amendola gets a 6-yard pass to Tom Brady. It's now 20-28. Oof, what's going on here? Because the 2-point conversion was successful. All right, 57 seconds left in the fourth quarter. James White 1-yard rush, along with a Danny Amendola 2-point conversion successful, makes it 28-28. And then New England gets the ball. Tom Brady drives down the field, gives it to James White, and the 2-yard rush for a Super Bowl-ending touchdown. The Atlanta Falcons were up 3-28, and it was like a mic'd up session. There was one guy's like, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose. They've never seen any offense like us. They've never seen anything like this. They have, though. Tom Brady has. Tom Brady has seen everything. And Tom Brady, what did he do? He went out there, he led his team, and he led them to another Super Bowl. And for New England, another ring. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. So now 5 rings for him, 5 rings for New England, and now they're one of the biggest cornerstones right now in terms of rings now. This was a team back in the 90s, they had no rings. And now they're tied with some great teams. Like overall, if you want to see like the most Super Bowl titles, they're right there at the top, you know? And that's what happened. You just can't let your guard down. And that's exactly what Atlanta did, honestly. They had the ability to come back, and they just didn't play hard enough. And Brady did. And not just Brady, everyone on that team. And that's it. Like, that team was... They're Super Bowl champs once again. Now what are you going to do?